how does that dealership create that better online experience? How do they take what we've done well physically and bring it, digitally? I know during, all this COVID-19, we've been forced to do that, but I think the game has just begun. I think everyone stepped up to the plate. Now, actually, the game has just begun. I'd love to get both of you guys' thoughts on how do we create that better online experience moving forward. I know you guys have already touched a little bit on that, but Glenn, I'll start with you.
Well, I think you're right. Everybody got pushed into the pool. People's dealerships got shut down and said, if you want to sell, you got to figure this out. Now, some of them have digital retailing tools and they just threw the tool on and thought, okay, now they were scrambling to figure it out. Other places, what happened was is they had to furlough or lay off, or in some cases terminate some salespeople. So the only people that were left were your general managers, general sales managers, top, who could do everything. And because they only could talk on the phone, they did exactly that. They started talking to them as if they were sitting in front of them. If they emailed, well, then I'm emailing you the information so that you will eventually call me or whatever, right? They forced their hand without thinking about it. So I think the problem with dealerships, in my opinion, and I've talked to them about this, is the fact that we've allowed technology and the world and whatever we want to talk about it to move past. My belief has always been BDCs were created because leaders in the dealership allowed salespeople to go, well, I'm not answering the phones. I'm not sending emails. I'm not good at that. So then it was like, well, do I get rid of him or her because they sell cars? Oh, I'll go hire someone else. But then the argument is I'll find somebody who has, to just point, the soft skills, or you soft skills, who's good on the phone and they can handle computers, but don't you sell? That's over there to that person. So I think if you took a step back and just said, okay, let's just pause everything. If you looked at your website as a consumer and said, where am I throwing obstacles? Why? Why do I need a form? Why do I have 87 call to actions on a VDP? Why do I have 2 trade-in tools? Why do I have get today? Here's your price. Here's your discount. Here's the dealership price, but get today's price. Like, who does today's price? And every day is today's new price. And everybody thinks it's a game. So now they don't believe your website. Then it's confusing. What button do I push, right? And then it's just here's form after form, which leads to everybody using the junk email that we possess, right? We give them some fake number, John Smith, and then your BDC, to Jeff's point earlier, efficiency. Well, probably 25% of the leads are garbage because you force people. You said, here's your price, calculate your payment, but you got to give me your name to use the tool. Okay. Go away at goawaygmail.com. And I get my access. And then you're going, hey, but we got all these leads. How come we didn't set appointments? You're fired. Like, it's nuts. So I think if we just said to ourselves from two ends, what would we do if they were standing in front of me? Go look at your email communications, and are we saying the same thing? If not, fix them. What do we say when somebody gets on the phone? If we're not saying the same thing as if Jeff's standing in front of me, do that. Then go look at your website and say, where would a customer go through? Are there obstacles? If I push a button, am I going to talk to Jeff? If my start on a VDP, or if I'm in a tool and I'm there too long, because you know how long they're there, because the tools will alert a manager, hey, Jeff, someone's in the tool over here. Why can't Jeff pop up after a little bit and do what he just said? I'm here to help you. I know the car buying process is confusing. I'm here to help you. Like, that to me would be a great auditing starting point. The fear that I have is that when we go back to whatever normal, no masks or whatever, or people get used to coming back in, everyone goes, okay, we can go back to what we used to do because that worked. And you're going to frustrate consumers even more because they got a taste of it and said that was damn easy. Now we're back to making it hard.
That's a really good point, Glenn.
I think those are both ways that you could just very simple, like, it's not complex. Just what would you say? Go look at your emails. If you're not saying it, retype the damn thing.
No, it's creating a disconnect. It's that handoff from your virtual dealership to your physical dealership. And I think for years it's been like this far off. And I think you'll find the most progressive dealerships out there, like the Bentstocks, and they're finding ways to try to get that line way more closer, where it's just a linear transition from digital to physical. And I think it's because, to your point, we've all said this: the customer demands it now. I think we're beyond the point, guys, of this being a good idea or a novel strategy. We're at the point now where the customer demands it. But Jeff, I'd like to get your thoughts on how does a dealership create a better online experience during COVID, and then of course moving forward as we progressively open up.
Sure. Well, I think one of the things we haven't done a good job of differentiating is the difference between customer service and customer experience. And there's multiple ways to define that. Typically, customer service in my books is reactive. Somebody clicked a link, they inquired, they called, they walked in, we're reacting. Whereas customer experience is proactive. And actually, it's longer. It starts before they start shopping, if it's someone in our portfolio, and it continues on after they make that purchase. Why? Because they're in our portfolio. All right. And so if we're thinking that the experience, not just the service, we're actually trying to anticipate our customers' needs, right? That's a big part of it. And whether that's somebody who's in your database that you want to make sure you reach out to 4 times a year, twice a year with a goodwill message, or twice a year with the sales message, or whatever rhythm you've determined is going to give you the yield of retention in your dealership. And then the other side of it too is on a day-to-day basis. We have an appointment culture. Why? So we can be prepared for the customer. So we can have a huddle every day and say, okay, who's coming in on appointments today? How are we preparing to deliver a quality, high-value experience? Same thing with your one-on-ones as a sales manager. Most one-on-ones are looking backwards, driving with the rearview mirror. How many ups did you have yesterday? What did you do? How many test drives? No, how many appointments have we created? How can I help you create appointments for today? How can I help you add value to customers today? So it's a whole different mindset when you start thinking of a high value customer experience. And you need to be prepared for that customer, and you need to be intentional about that customer and try to anticipate their needs.